A man stands alone on the battlefield, golden armor catching the last rays of sunset. He knows he will die today. He walks toward his death anyway. This is Karna. History calls him a villain. But the truth is far more tragic. In the ancient texts of the Mahabharata, composed between the 4th century BCE and 4th century CE, Karna's story unfolds across thousands of verses. He was born to Kunti, the queen of Hastinapur, before her marriage to King Pandu. She bore him in secret and cast him into a river, terrified of scandal. A charioteer named Adhiratha found the infant floating in the waters and raised him as his own son. This act of abandonment would define everything that came after. Karna grew up believing himself lowborn, unaware that royal blood ran through his veins. He became the greatest archer of his time, perhaps of any time. But birth determined destiny in ancient Bharat. A charioteer's son, no matter how skilled, could never be treated as equal to princes. When the 5 Pandava princes and 100 Kaurava princes gathered for the great contest of arms at Hastinapur, Karna arrived as an unknown challenger. He demonstrated archery skills that made even Arjuna, the celebrated warrior, pale with envy. But when Karna stepped forward to compete, Prince Duryodhana asked him a single question: "Who is your father?" Karna could not answer. The assembly erupted in laughter. A man without a known father could not compete among princes. He could not marry into nobility. He could not inherit kingdoms. The humiliation was absolute. Yet Duryodhana alone showed him kindness. He crowned Karna as king of Anga and offered him friendship. For the first time in his life, someone of high birth treated him as an equal. Karna's gratitude became absolute. He swore loyalty to Duryodhana that would outlast reason itself. This friendship, this single act of acceptance, became the invisible chains that bound Karna to his tragedy. Decades passed. The rivalry between the Pandavas and Kauravas deepened. The great Kurukshetra war became inevitable. On the first day of battle, as warriors clashed like thunder, Karna and Arjuna finally faced each other. They were half-brothers, though neither fully understood this truth. Arjuna had been blessed by Lord Krishna himself. Karna had only received a curse. Years before, the sage Parshurama had taught Karna in secret, believing him lowborn. When Parshurama discovered the deception, he cursed Karna. In his moment of greatest need, his knowledge would abandon him. As the two warriors circled each other, their arrows sang through the air like terrible music. Karna fought with the grace of a man who had spent his entire life perfecting his craft. But fate had already decided. When Karna's chariot sank into the earth, a consequence of curses accumulated across his lifetime, he called out to Arjuna in the ancient code of honor, "Wait! A warrior does not strike a man whose chariot is disabled." Arjuna hesitated. But Krishna whispered, "He would have shown no such mercy to you." The arrow flew. Karna fell. The greatest archer who ever lived died not in glorious combat, but in a moment of vulnerability, struck down by a man he did not know was his brother. Karna gave everything. History forgot him. After Karna's death, Kunti revealed the truth to Arjuna and the Pandavas. They learned that the man they had defeated was their own brother. Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava, wept openly on the battlefield. He declared that Karna was the greatest among all warriors, yet none had honored him while he lived. The Mahabharata itself mourns Karna in verses of profound sorrow. The text acknowledges his unmatched courage, his unwavering loyalty, his mastery of dharma even in impossible circumstances. Yet history's verdict remained mixed. Karna was called a villain by some because he sided with Duryodhana, who was unjust. But this judgment ignores the fundamental tragedy. Karna was loyal to the only man who ever showed him kindness. He fought for the only king who treated him with dignity. His greatest virtue, loyalty unto death, became his greatest curse. He was punished not for malice, but for choosing to honor a friendship that society said he should never have made. Karna's story speaks to every age, but especially to ours. We live in a time when people are still judged by their birth, their background, their circumstances of origin. We still ask, "Where are you from? Who are your parents? What caste, what class, what credential defines your worth?" Karna teaches us that a person's value is not determined by where they began. He became the greatest archer through discipline, through sacrifice, through unrelenting commitment to excellence. Yet the world denied him recognition. Today, in our modern world, countless Karnas exist, brilliant, dedicated, honorable people whose gifts go unrecognized because of circumstances beyond their control. Karna also teaches us about loyalty and friendship. In a world that demands we choose the winning side, the powerful side, Karna chose to stand with his friend even when it meant standing against destiny itself. That kind of loyalty, that kind of honor, is increasingly rare. Perhaps rarer than it should be. Most profoundly, Karna teaches us that the tragic hero is not the one who triumphs, but the one who chooses righteousness even when righteousness guarantees defeat. He knew he would die. The curse assured it. Yet he walked onto that battlefield anyway, armor gleaming, bow in hand, ready to face whatever came. That is the definition of courage, not the absence of fear, but the choice to act honorably despite it. If Karna's story moved you, if you hunger for more tales of Bharat's greatest warriors and sages, subscribe to this channel. Each week, we journey deeper into the Mahabharata and Ramayana, uncovering the human stories beneath the legends. Stories like this one, stories that shaped civilizations and still speak to our souls today. Subscribe now. Let's walk through history together.